So you want me to believe that I should give up my right to defend myself and leave it to the police who failed? Today's video is brought to you by Galco Gun Holsters, the #1 name in leather gun holsters and other accessories. They have shoulder holsters, chest rigs, and of course slings and branded merch. They also have leather maintenance items, so that way you can also take care of the premium items that you purchase from Galco. Go to the description down below and click my link to get your premium gun holster. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Biopilot Arms. Today we're going to be talking about that pesky interview by Kathy Hochul and tearing it apart piece by piece because it is so laughably ridiculous that, yes, I know it's been out for like a week and a half, but for those of you who haven't seen it, or just want to listen to me complain and shoot all of her arguments down, well, that's why we're here. So let's jump right in.
Everyone is just wondering, is this a one-off? Could this happen again? I mean, that sense of security is shattered when someone comes from another state carrying an assault weapon designed only for battlefields, but intending to use that to commit mayhem and mass murder in our cities. So,
What did she just say, bro? Okay, they brought it from another state. Okay, yeah, that's true. Again, they can never define what an assault weapon is, but only used in battlefields. I don't know of a single time that an AR-15 that doesn't have select fire has ever been used by our military. Point me to any instance where that is the case. She clearly does not know the difference between an actual battle rifle that our military uses and an AR-15. And just, it gets worse from here.
Yeah, and that was part of my question to you, Governor. What do we know about this was an M4 rifle? That's what the police say. What do we know?
What did he say?
Well, then the police are fucking wrong. Okay? I have seen zero evidence that this was a select fire M4 rifle. In fact, the photographs that they showed are, in fact, a Palmetto State Armory lower. In fact, even in the photograph, there's safe and there's fire. I do not see a third option there. Because as far as I know, I don't believe Palmetto State Armory's general lowers go out with the ability to have a third position. I'm sure that they do make them, but I don't think this is one of them. Especially because it's something that you would have to seek out specifically. This guy does not strike me as the type of person that would do that. Like, specifically pay extra in order to obtain that specific type of lower in order to switch it into third. Which, mind you, even the ones that have the third position, you would have to do extra modifications to make it full auto. Okay? Like, just having the ability to switch it to third doesn't necessarily mean it's full auto. It could be a binary trigger. It could be an FRT, both of which are legal, neither of which I believe are in this gun. So there is zero evidence that I have seen that supports that this was at all select fire, let alone an M4. So if he's saying that the police said that, these police have no idea what they're talking about. But that makes sense. It's New York City.
in the state of New York, you cannot buy one of these. You have to be over age 18. You cannot have access. I mean, he had a concealed carry permit, which allowed him to have this weapon.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. The concealed carry permit had absolutely nothing to do with his ability to buy a rifle. You do not need a concealed carry permit to purchase a rifle. In at least Texas and a lot of states that have open carry laws, you don't even need a concealed carry license to open carry a long gun. So you can go and buy it at 18. You can carry it right out of the store openly in a lot of states without a concealed carry. A concealed carry permit specifically, it says it in the name, specifically pertains to concealed carry of a concealed firearm. Okay? She has no idea how concealed carries work. And that's not surprising because New York refuses to issue them. And when they do issue them, they have made everything a sensitive zone that you can't even carry it into anyway. So there's no point to get a concealed carry. So nobody really does. So it doesn't. So it makes sense to me why she would have zero understanding of what a concealed carry license actually does, because for all intents and purposes, it doesn't exist in New York.
If every state had the same laws uniformly, you could not have a situation where we fight really hard in the state of New York to make sure that we have the toughest gun laws in the nation. We have the lowest of all the large states homicide rate by guns. New York City, New York State has the lowest homicide rate by guns in the nation for large states.
That means nothing. Okay, first and foremost, her supposition that you have another state that has a different type of gun law and therefore that allows guns from that state into your state is just an absurdity and a falsity on its face. If every state had the same laws and they were all akin to New York's, criminals would still acquire guns, but instead of getting them from the neighboring state, they would get it from the neighboring country. And the neighboring two countries that we have are Canada, which, okay, yeah, they probably won't get many from there, and Mexico. You don't want them getting things from Mexico, because in Mexico, they have M249 belt-fed machine guns and RPG-7s, bro. Okay? That's way worse than a regular AR-15, in my opinion, and quite honestly, objectively. Saying, oh, well, if we just ban them all in every state. First of all, people already own them. Criminals already own them. So that's two sets of types of people who, if you ban them, would not get rid of them. And even if they did, they could still acquire these from Mexico. And quite honestly, if they're going to Mexico to buy them, they're just going to get worse things. So that right there is just asinine to begin with. And then she's talking about, oh, well, we have less gun crime. No one cares, okay? It's not about the tool. It's about how much crime in general. You sit here and you say, oh, well, we have the lowest amount of, gun homicides or whatever. Okay, how many people are stabbed? Okay, how many people are violently attacked in the street with any number of other weapons? A lot. I mean, Jesus, there was a viral video of a woman literally being sexually assaulted violently on a subway, and nobody did anything about it. Then you had the whole Daniel Penny thing, where the guy was threatening to kill people on the train, and he had to actually physically attack him in order to subdue him. Self-defense almost doesn't exist in this state. So her sitting here saying, oh, well, yeah, we have less, gun homicide. It's like, okay, and the method by which the homicide occurs is not really relevant. It's whether or not the homicide occurs in the first place. So I'd like to see your statistic, because they always do that. They always tweak it to where it's specifically gun crimes, gun deaths, but they never address the overarching crime. They never talk about the graph in whole, crime as a whole, violent crime as a whole. They single out guns and they're like, well, we have, less gun death. Well, yeah, because you got rid of the tool, and now you're trying to measure the thing that happens with the tool by how many tools there are. Of course it's going to be less. That's like me saying there are less ocean drownings in Arizona than California. Well, yeah, because there's no ocean in Arizona. So of course there wouldn't be any. That doesn't mean people aren't still drowning in pools.
And that's because of laws that are working And we want that same sense of urgency to go out across the nation. States like Nevada, every state should do this, because right now we've been waiting for the federal government, for Congress to step up, and the Republicans in Congress are so intimidated by the gun lobby. Or they might have a primary if they dare stand up and stand, I'm for common sense gun safety laws.
The Republicans are intimidated by the gun lobby? But what are you talking about, bro? Literally, New York Rifle Pistol Association versus Bruin. That literally happened because of your state. And that is what basically reset everything to the point where the Supreme Court has come out and said these specific things are absolutely allowed and constitutional, and you're the state who keeps infringing on it. If anything, the entire United States needs to move to have laws like Texas.
Lives could be saved. You'd only do what's smart and common sense.
Common sense would dictate that recording a metric of violent crime overall would make sense, not picking out the tool. Common sense would dictate that allowing an individual to defend themselves in a moment where police cannot teleport to you, as is this case, guy was on the 33rd floor, where were police? They didn't get there till after he basically ended himself. It could have been a lot worse. And those people, all they could do was pile desks in front of a door and hope that if he started shooting through that he was not going to just randomly hit somebody. Because I'll tell you what, those desks were not going to stop bullets from coming through the door. I'm sorry, but cops cannot be everywhere at once. And also, in this instance, there was literally a security guard and a cop in the lobby, and they couldn't stop him. So you want me to believe that I should give up my right to defend myself and leave it to the police who failed? No, that's ridiculous. But that's how these gun control activists work. They sit there and they say, oh, well, it's common sense. And then they spout a bunch of BS that is not common sense and try to gaslight you into believing that what they're saying is common sense when in fact it is nonsensical.
We had an assault van weapon in our country for 10 years. It worked successfully.
Columbine. I wouldn't call it successful.
I'm looking for political courage. I'm looking for people to stand up for the people of this nation and say enough is enough. How much more slaughter do we have to endure because of these assault weapons?
Assault weapons. Drink.
We had this happen in my hometown of Buffalo in 2022. You remember 10 people shopping at a Tops grocery store in a black part of our city. This individual targeted them, a white supremacist, because of the color of their skin. They were slaughtered, gunned down with the same kind of weapon. We sprung into action. We made sure that our laws were tougher and tighter.
So after a mass shooting where people were not able to defend themselves, your solution was to tighten gun restrictions and not allow self-defense. And then what happened? Another mass shooting that wasn't stopped by anybody. How does that make any logical sense? Whereas in other states, like Texas, mass shootings have actively been stopped in the middle of them by people with firearms that were trained, that were able to stop the threat. In Boulder, Colorado, there was a dude throwing Molotov cocktails at people. And there was a woman who specifically said, I wish that I had my gun on me because I'd take care of this problem right here and right now. But she couldn't because of where she was. It was not legally allowed. There's so many examples of that. And yet somehow it's common sense to not allow you to protect yourself. Right.
I don't want to be having my residents affected by someone coming from another state who could easily get their hands on this assault weapon.
Assault weapon?
Travel across multiple states and do what they did just yesterday. So I want to be able to protect New Yorkers. It's my number one priority. And it's hard to do it when other states aren't stepping up. And certainly Congress has let us down.
If you were so worried about people in your state, you would allow them to protect themselves. You are such a hypocrite, because I almost guarantee you that as the governor, she has 24/7 protection with Ding ding, you guessed it, Johnny. People with assault weapons. Yeah, okay. But rules for thee and not for me, and that's, I'm so tired of it. This is why I live in Texas, because we have some of the best gun laws. Not perfect, but some of the best. Anyway, I just really wanted to complain about that because, oh my gosh, the amount of idiotic things that were said in this interview, I couldn't, it got me fired up. I had to say something. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. Drop a comment down below, hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know, man, what do you guys think about this? Like, is there any arguments I missed? You tell me. Anyway, I will see you guys next time.